remember when I was here and it was still the election and we was like, America might do the right thing.
Yes.
Remember that? That was great. That was a good time. Good evening. Welcome to Have I Got News for You. I'm Roy Wood Jr. In the news this week, in Tokyo, at the world's first robot cafe, the inventor regrets getting AI to learn from British workers. Elton John denies he's overindulging his pet dog as he takes little Sasha for a tapeworm injection. And after Eamon Holmes announces a new travel show in Japan, an exclusive preview sees him enjoy a dish of fermented soybeans before taking a trip on the iconic bullet train. On Ian's team tonight, an actor and comedian who has 5 children, or as Boris Johnson would put it, hardly any. Please welcome Gus Kahn. On Paul's team tonight, a journalist and broadcaster who hails from Scotland, or as we Americans call it, the land of Mel Gibson. Please welcome Kirsty Wark. Now, as always, we begin with the bigger news stories of the week. Paul and Kirsty, what's this about?
Okay. Oh, yes, obviously this is Canada, Mounties. You're the pilot. My wife didn't get a gin and tonic. Village people are making an appearance. My wife didn't get a gin and tonic. This is King Charles in Canada.
Yes, indeed. This is King Charles' speech to the Canadian Parliament, warning that Canada is not for sale, nor will it be handed over to America as the 51st state. Canada will remain as free as it's been since Britain stole it from the First Nations and the French.
Americans always make fun of Canadians, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, because why not?
They're sort of like a better version of America, aren't they, Canada?
Canadians are Americans who, like, do their homework and they, like, nice to people and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the problem there.
Yeah.
And they've got gun controls, haven't they?
Well, they've got guns, but they don't use them.
They don't use them, yeah.
See? They got them, but they don't
And
use
that's
them.
why they're boring. Like,
Would you want a boring president at the moment?
I would love a boring president. What traditional Canadian activity did King Charles partake in while over there?
Ice hockey.
Snowshoeing.
Ryan Gosling.
Is that an activity?
King Charles was offered a puck.
Yeah, ice hockey, yeah.
Yeah. When you visit America, I don't know if you know about any of our traditions, but when you visit America, we allow you to deport one immigrant, and that's...
Are you going to get back in, do you think, when you go back to America?
Oh, no, I'm going to be back before this airs. So.
Oh, right.
I'm good, bro. What's the big setback for Trump this
Oh, tariffs. It's taken the courts a long time to come to the decision that these tariffs are illegal. He's not allowed to impose them.
Trump is basically like most of my uncles, and they're all Pakistani. So in a very different way, like, he just be talking whatever he wants. Like, bro, my uncle is just like him in the sense that if you let him lead the free world, my uncle will be there saying, Greenland, mine. Canada, give him to me. Uncle, Canada is not a person. Give him to me anyway. Canada is mine, Greenland is mine. This is what happens when you let them people close to 80 around the world.
On which occasion did Trump display his natural ability, though, this week, to tailor the right words to the right moment?
Oh, yeah, he posted a thing saying Happy Memorial Day, which you don't tend to do when you're commemorating the dead.
Okay, but that wasn't all.
No, I remember the first bit of it, and he said, and but particularly to all those people who've spent 4 years trying to oppose him, miserable left-wing lying toads.
Yes, Trump posted on his social media, "Happy Memorial Day to all, including the scum." Also, in a speech at Arlington National Cemetery back in the States, Trump tried to pay a dignified tribute to a fallen Army veteran by saying this.
As a linguist, translator, and cryptologic technician.
Guys, bonus points. What is a cryptologist?
I know, but he said it just like my uncle, too. Politics, I don't know what...
Trump also made a speech to graduates at West Point Academy.
Yes.
His speech was rambling and incoherent, and guess what? I got a game for you.
Yeah.
I'll get the randomizer going. It's gonna stop on one of the graphics. You have to tell me what tangent Trump went off on.
Yes.
Fingers on buzzers.
OK.
Here's the first one. All right.
That's a stealth bomber.
Okay, but what was the tangent? Like, how did he...
We've got a stealth bomber, but you can see it.
No, he said, no, we've got a stealth bomber, but, you know, you can't see a stealth bomber, so we actually don't know how many we've got.
Right. Did he say the Qataris are giving him a free stealth bomber? In gold, with taps?
Let's take a look.
We are buying you new airplanes, brand new, beautiful planes, redesigned planes, brand new planes, totally stealth planes. I hope they're stealth. I don't know. That whole stealth thing, I'm sort of wondering. You mean if we shape a wing this way, they don't see it, but the other way they see it? I'm not so sure. That's what they tell me.
I think at this point with the president, they could just take him out to an empty runway and just point and be like, it's 15 stealth bombers right there. Let's do another one.
OK, another one. Well, Gary Player used to work as a lightning conductor.
Okay.
What he said about Gary Player, a hell of a player, he's a great player, his name was Player, he was a player.
Let's see.
Let's have a look.
An example is a great athlete, Gary Player, great golfer. He wasn't as big as the other men that were playing against him, great, big, strong guys. Gary was a smaller guy. He gets a little angry at people because he hits the ball just as far. He said, I hit the ball further than them. Why am I small?
Here's the thing that's crazy about this. Keep this in mind. Yeah. Those clips are from the same speech.
I mean, it's a problem for him doing a graduation, though, at a military academy, isn't it? Because he didn't do any military service due to having bone spurs.
Yeah.
Which must be hurting.
Yes.
Badly now.
I think they've grown into his brain over the years. Up his body and...
Now, to be fair to my president, Trump wasn't all mad last week. He had one realization that was actually reasonable, and I would even say good. What was that realization that
Putin's gone crazy? Was that the one?
Yeah, he noticed that Putin is a bad guy.
Yeah.
Which has taken him a very long time. Up to that point, he thought he was one of the good guys.
Yeah.
So he called him crazy.
Thoughts which he then doubled down on and amplified to reporters.
Yeah, I'll give you an update. I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all. And something happened to this guy, and I don't like it.
His two bodyguards in the background aren't taking their job particularly seriously, are they?
Do you think Putin's scared when he watches this video? Or do you think he laughs until he can't stop? It's pathetic. That's the leader of the free world. God. I don't like it. He's a 3-year-old in a hat.
There's a suggestion that Trump isn't as tough as he likes to think. What acronym is being used to describe Trump now?
Bob, the big orange baby.
Oh, those are old. There's a new one. There's a new Trump acronym. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll give you a hint. It's TACO. But you tell me what TACO stands for.
Tough as crumble. Only.
Tosspot, arsehole, can't think of one for certain.
Taco stands for Trump Always Chickens Out. Oh. And Trump has described the acronym as nasty.
I like the American comedian who said he used to be known as POTUS and now he's known as Despotus.
This is King Charles at Canada's state opening of Parliament. During the royal visit, King Charles planted a tree in Ottawa. Thank God, because Canada finally is getting some much-needed trees. Trump's performance at West Point was criticized on social media, with one user describing the speech as a midlife crisis. Midlife! All right, Ian and Gus, here's yours.
That's the new nationalised train. That's the Transport Secretary, don't worry. Another one along in a minute. And that's old clip of British Rail and him saying, remember, take the car. We've got a new nationalised railway.
Okay.
Which has been coming a long time. And its first day out, you're looking sad.
No, I don't really like trains. That's all it is.
What'd they do to you? What did the train?
No, I just got bad memories. You know, like when I was a kid, the only way we could get on trains is really to just get in there without paying. And then there was a technique where you would hide in the toilet to try and get away with a fare. And there was just one particular time when there was like 8 of us hiding in the toilet. And one of the dudes who joined us in the toilet, we didn't know who he was. And it was a very tense journey between Coventry and Birmingham, that's all I'm going to say. Bad memory.
I don't feel like we have enough time to unpack these memories here. The rail company was Southwestern Railway, which came under state ownership at 1:59 a.m. on Sunday, followed by an announcement that the 2:27 a.m. from Guildford to London Waterloo had been cancelled.
The first scheduled train
yes.
that was actually there was from Woking.
Yes.
And it got as far as Surbiton, and then there was a bus replacement. And I have to say, this is just for the interests of balance.
Yes.
When they privatised the rail service, the first train, there was a big hoo-ha, first privatised train, it was cancelled. I'm just saying for balance.
Yeah. Despite the replacement bus, many of the passengers were thoroughly enjoying the journey.
Oh.
What made the journey so enjoyable?
There are a lot of train spotters on board.
Yeah, bus spotters.
Several train enthusiasts were delighted to be aboard the historic journey, including Rob Potter, who celebrated the occasion with a Lefroy single malt.
Great.
And let's get a picture of old Rob up on the screen. There's Rob.
He's still on the train.
Yeah. That's a 5:30 in the morning train. Do not clap. Moving on from British transport, who wants to see a dog on a motorbike?
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Let's do that.
Well, I've never seen it with the whole harnessing thing before, but unfortunately you can't be riding around with the dog in between your arms like that.
Did you notice that hesitation when he said between?
Yeah, there's a lot of fur in there.
Meanwhile, in water news. Do y'all just think I can't handle the good stories? You just can't give me...
They find Thames Water.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Over and over and over. Millions
Yeah,
and millions
absolutely.
and millions.
It's about time.
Yes. They find him.
Because they were going to give dividends out again. They'd given dividends out to their shareholders, which were massive on the last 2 occasions, and that's when the big row started.
And the man in charge appeared in front of the select committee and said, we had to give out these huge bonuses and dividends because the shareholders insisted. And then a day later he said, oh, yes, when I said the shareholders insisted, I meant they agreed when we told them we were going to do it. He said he misspoke, which is a new word, which means lied.
Who else has come in for criticism after announcing a spending splurge?
Nigel Farage. And Keir Starmer has said that if he's adopting Liz Trump's idea...
Liz Trump, that's a very good mistake.
Liz Trump, did I say? I see this. two are very similar.
He announced his new brilliant ideas for Britain.
Yes.
He got out a fag packet, looked at the back of it, and there it all was.
Yeah.
What you've got to do is we've got to cut taxes and increase spending.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes. Nigel Farage listed a number of reform tax and welfare policies in a major speech, which, according to the Institute of Fiscal Studies, could cost up to $85 billion. But how did Farage say he's going to pay for all of this?
He said we're going to scrap net zero.
Okay.
And that'll save 40 billion, which it won't. It's about 6, I think, tops. And then he said we're going to have efficiency in the civil service, we're going to have net zero immigration, we're going to stop immigrants living in hotels, and this will make 350 billion zillion pounds, literally.
This all sounds like very familiar policies that I've heard.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that he also wants to put up a wall between the UK and Mexico at the border.
He's going to bring in Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He's the man.
Yeah, that could work. Maybe Elon is on his way over here.
Absolutely.
Maybe that's why Elon quit working with Trump.
Yeah.
Good luck. Does anyone remember High Wycombe MP Steve Baker? You know Wycombe.
Yeah.
High Wycombe.
Yeah, that's
Wycombe.
right.
High Wycombe. High Wycombe.
It's also known as the Gulf of Wickham, if that helps.
High Wycombe MP Steve Baker.
Yeah.
What has he been telling the Politico website?
How to pronounce Wickham.
Come on now.
We don't know. Tell us, Roy.
No, Steve Baker's been complaining about the inadequate payoffs that MPs get when they lose their seat and is calling for a 1 year's redundancy pay instead of the 4 months that they currently get to get us over the horrible process of actually getting a job. And he continued and said, as soon as I apply, they know who I am. They do the Googling and they don't want me. This is the first railway franchise to be nationalized by the Labour government. Journalists were keen to bombard Transport Secretary Heidi Alexander with questions, but were thwarted as in a political masterstroke, she went and sat in the quiet carriage. Time now for round 2.
Yeah.
And this is gonna be my favorite round. We're calling this the Star-Spangled Hammer. Fingers on buzzers, teams. Let's do it. What do you see right there?
For the sake of filling in the gap, we don't know.
This is the news that the Gloucester Services has been voted Britain's favorite motorway service station. That's my favorite one, too.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm riding through Gloucester.
Where is that?
Gloucester, over there about it, off the M40. You know the one.
It's right next to High Wycombe.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. Here's what it looks like on the inside.
Posh.
Yes.
God. But is there KFC there? If there's no KFC, then this is no use.
Which one was voted least favorite in Britain?
Was it Cobham?
Cobham.
Clackett.
Bridgewater Services in Somerset, also on the M5, came at the bottom at 23% approval rating. Here it is. Terrible, that's somebody's house.
But you know what, brother? There's a KFC there, so...
According to the Daily Mail, it was described by one visitor as smelling like stale urine.
Ooh.
Not even the dignity of fresh piss. While we're on the subject, who fancies a game of Name That Service Station? Fingers on the buzzers. Here we go. Which service station, one of the largest in the UK, opened in 1993 between junctions 5 and 6 at the M25 in Surrey and was originally going to be called Titsywood?
No, they're having you on here, I think.
Ian, you mentioned it earlier.
Was it Cobham Services or is it Clackett Lane?
Clackett Lane Services!
This is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Outstanding. Next, which service station opened on the M5 in 1966?
M5 again?
1966.
Oh.
Between the Quinton interchange at Junction 3 and at the 838 at Junction 4.
You want just the name?
Hey, your name, okay.
Or you want the place?
Name the service station.
Boringwood Services.
It's Frankly Services. And frankly, I'm disappointed that y'all didn't get it.
When she said boring wood, that wasn't a personal criticism.
How do y'all not know this? How do I know more about your country than you? Which service station sits a mile west of Junction 17 on the M4 between Bristol and Swindon and was once described as unquestionably the Xanadu of the M4?
I got the answer to this. Who gives a fuck? That's the answer.
It is the Lee Delamere. Thankfully, that is the end of Name That Service Station. This is the news that Gloucester Services has been voted Britain's best. According to the Daily Mail, in a survey of motorway service stations across the UK, the company Moto was responsible for some of the worst rated, filling 9 of the table's 10 bottom spots, which is also what you'll get from their toilet seats. Fingers on buzzers, teams.
Yeah. Well, that's clearly Roger Moore as James Bond with a sort of like a toolkit around his belt. Is it the new James Bond film licensed to put together IKEA
License
furniture?
to drill.
Licensed to drill. There's no drill there.
This is news that MI5 are looking to hire a carpenter. According to the Times, the successful recruit will be deployed in the field to help on top secret missions by installing bugging devices in furniture and door frames.
It could change the famous dialogue in Goldfinger. Do you expect me to talk? No, we expect you to make a coffee table.
What are some of the perks of the job?
10% discount at Screwfix, like what?
Yeah.
Something practical, I would say.
Something useful.
Where are they advertising for this job? Checkertrade.com. I don't really think like...
B&Q.
B&Q, right? Just stick it in a window.
In a window.
Well, you don't want B&Q, because Q does a lot of the armament.
Yeah.
This is the news that MI5 are looking to hire an in-house carpenter. The starting salary is £43,000 or 40,000 cash. Fingers on buzzers, teams.
Yes.
I think I'm reading the wrong newspapers.
This is the news that 1 in 3 people aged 18 to 24 could not identify a hole punch. According to one Gen Z office worker, young people don't use paper that much.
Yes.
When told that a hole punch was used to put A4 paper into ring binders, some asked, what is a ring binder? Of the 1,018 to 24-year-olds that were surveyed, what were some of the other stationary items that they were perplexed
A
by?
rubber. Well, you wouldn't call it a rubber.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
An eraser.
You got the condoms on the stationary aisle? Oh, an eraser. Okay,
Yeah,
rubber, all right. You gotta say this when you say rubber to me. Yeah.
Yeah, that hand movement doesn't help. You don't need a rubber if you're doing that. You don't need that. Oh, dear me.
They were baffled by pencil sharpeners and paper clips.
I like a pencil. Yeah.
I do an HB too.
In other news,
Yeah.
what...
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no, the HB2 joke's been delayed.
This is the news that young people are struggling with the concept of a hole punch. To be fair these days, where would you even find a hole punch or a fax machine apart from the private eye office? Although even in the private eye office, Ian's the only one that can work the quill sharpener.
The idea that I would sharpen my own quills.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, my supposed reputation for being highbrow,
Yeah.
I got an absolute flood of letters, because in last week's issue,
Yes.
I said the theme tune for the Eurovision Song Contest
Yes.
was Handel.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, it was Charpentier.
Yes.
Can you believe it?
You idiot.
I mean, it was his Te Deum, and I haven't been able to go out in the streets and look anywhere. I just feel an utter fool. And these letters, they kept coming in, one And another one.
Okay, time now for Missing Words round. We'll start with Brits are second best in the world at what, just behind Americans?
Pronouncing High Wycombe.
Coming first.
Brits... Brits are second best in the world at swearing, just behind Americans.
What a load of fucking rubbish.
One of the politest nations in the study is Hong Kong, where banned words include fuck, shit, and democracy. Next, Bollocks and Swindon that what branded disgusting?
Resemble Mussolini. Spell out the phrase up yours, Swindon.
Look like they're phallic.
You're close. It's something else that goes in your mouth. Not yours.
That's nice talk, isn't it? That's nice talk.
Not yours.
This is BBC One, you know.
Correct. Bollocks and Swindon that look like cigarettes branded disgusting.
They are cigarettes.
They are cigarettes. Look.
Lastly, new tidying method says the best way to declutter your home is to what?
Is it ask your children to leave?
New tidying method says the best way to declutter your home is to ask yourself, would I keep this if it was covered in effluent?
Does that include your husband?
This idea has been publicized by Amanda Johnson, who is an influencer and content creator who recommends we all get rid of things that don't serve a purpose, which is dangerous words coming from an influencer and content creator. So the final scores are Ian and Gus have 2 points. Paul and Kirsty have 4 points. Water and glass. But before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
Do you think I should stop the Ozempic now?
On which note, we say thank you to our panelists, Ian Hislop and Gus Kahn, Paul Merton and Kirsty Wark, and I leave you with news that there's a dramatic moment at Crufts as a life is saved using the Heimlich maneuver. In his new favorite sport of human snooker, snooker?
Yeah, snooker.
Snooker's right. In his first favorite sport of human snooker, Pope Leo lines up a very tricky 6-ball plant. And in London, a familiar face turns up for the reality TV industry's Bell End of the Year Awards. Good night.